It was the end of May in India, one of the hottest times of the year, when I decided to walk 1,500 kilometers alone. Let me explain how I got there. I was running a women empowerment project in North India, Noida, India. Every time I had meetings with government officials, NGOs, ministers, everyone nodding, everyone saying yes, 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 and absolutely nothing was happening. And all around me, I was watching women, educated women, some women with PhDs, who were afraid to travel alone in their own city because they didn't believe in themselves, who couldn't say no, who couldn't stand up for what they wanted. Women so capable, so trapped at the same time. Something in me broke. I said to myself, if the system will move, I will move. I will show them with my example what courage looks like. So I made a decision that was either very brave or completely insane, possibly both. I would walk from Noida to Calcutta alone, 1,500 kilometers, to show them it was possible. You can face your fear, you can take action, you can be safe and still be brave. So I packed my backpack, a few clothes that I would wash along the way, my copper water bottle, my meditation cushion, pepper spray, and I gave up my hostel room. I was living in a women's hostel at that time. And at 5 a.m. one morning, I started walking. And I walked and I walked and I walked. And by midday, I had covered around 25 kilometers and hit the highway. Now, in my country, we don't have highways like Indian highways. Enormous, endless, terrifying. The map has showed me something completely different. So I had no choice but to move onto the service road of the highway and keep going. At that time, I was a blonde, I was wearing a cap and white clothes. I was in my white clothes phase, and being a foreign woman walking alone on a service road in North India, an area known not to be safe for women, I was very visible. Everyone passing by noticed me. I was getting honks and stares and attention that I absolutely did not want. But I was ignoring and kept walking till I ran out of water. You cannot walk in heat without water, so I stopped under a tree. My feet were hurting me so badly. The shoes I had chosen were completely wrong for the 25 kilometers in this heat, and the highway stretched ahead with no end in sight. I looked at the map. There was a temple about 10 kilometers further. My new plan: wait until 3 p.m. for the worst heat to pass, then walk to the temple and ask if they could host me for the night. Simple plan, except I had no water, and I was alone under a tree in the middle of nowhere. Cars started stopping one after another. Only men, do you need help? Do you need help? Every time one stopped, my body tensed. I said no, every single one. I didn't trust them. I didn't feel safe. Then a man on a scooter pulled up. He asked me if I need anything, same as the others, but something was different. I cannot explain it. Something about him didn't trigger me, and without really thinking, I heard myself asking him, do you have any water? He said no, but he said, give me your water bottle and I'll go and get you some. My mind immediately went to the worst. What if he takes my bottle and doesn't come back? In India, trying to buy a bottle of water is not easy. You can refill yours, but finding to buy a new one is not guaranteed. So I didn't want to give the only bottle I had. At worst, what if he put something in it? I said, no. That's okay, thank you. He insisted gently, are you sure? Can I take you somewhere? I said no, and he drove away. 20 minutes passed. He came back. He stopped his scooter and held out a sealed bottle of cold water. I turned it over in my hands and checked it thoroughly to make sure it was not tampered with. It was safe, so I drank it in one go. Something shifted in me. I looked at his scooter's plate. The numbers coincidentally had a spiritual significance to me. I have always been someone guided more by intuition and emotion rather than logic, and certain numbers carry personal meaning for me. Looking at that plate, something in me said, this is not random, and I was feeling safer somehow. He asked where I was going. I told him I'm going to the temple that is 10 kilometers ahead. He said, I'll take you there. Now know that I am terrified of scooters and motorcycles. When I ride with someone, I hold them tightly, my body hugging them because I'm very scared. But this was a stranger. I couldn't hold on to him, so I climbed on behind him, leaving the maximum possible space between us, gripping only the rear handle while he balanced my backpack between his legs. And we joined the highway. I was terrified of speed, of the scooter, of everything. The situation was uncomfortable. We reached the temple. I got off and thanked him. He said, take my number in case you need anything. I had no intention of calling him, but I took his number out of politeness. As he dictated the digits and I typed, my phone began suggesting contacts with similar numbers. When he almost finished, one contact remained on my screen, a public figure from a political party I had just met days earlier through my project. I looked up at him. Do you know this person? He took out his own phone, showed me the same contact. He said, I work with her. Our numbers are almost identical, just one digit different. I stood there in silence. This was no coincidence. And if I had a fear in that moment, it left my body completely. When he suggested getting something to drink, I said yes without hesitation. We went to a nearby mall. He bought me a cold milkshake and refused to take my money. Then he asked me where I'm going. I told him to Vrindavan, which was my first real stop, 150 kilometers away. His eyes went wide. You cannot walk there, he said. There is only highway till there, no service road, nowhere safe for you. I will take you. And so this stranger, this man who I just met, who came back with sealed water for me, who asked for nothing, who expected nothing. After we finished our drinks, we hopped onto his scooter and drove me 150 kilometers to the holy city of Vrindavan in blazing heat. He stopped twice on the way, once for water, once just before we arrived to buy me some fresh mandarins. He refused to take any money, and when we reached the center of the city, he dropped me off, turned around, and drove back. This man did almost 300 kilometers in that day in heat just to make sure I reached safely to my destination. He had no requests, no expectations, no explanation, just pure, quiet, unrequested kindness. We stayed in touch, and sometime later he even introduced me to powerful people in the government to help me with my project. I never gave him anything, just my gratitude. That's it. The moral of the story. Here's what neuroscience says about that moment under the tree. Your gut feeling is not mystical, it is biological intelligence. Your nervous system is constantly scanning, reading micro-expressions, tone of voice, body language, energy faster than your conscious mind can follow. Research shows your brain processes signals of safety and dangers in milliseconds that pull you towards someone, or that quiet alarm that is making you run away from some people. That is not imagination, that is real. Your nervous system is doing the job brilliantly. Think about this. I rejected everyone who stopped, and many people stopped, but I said yes to him, not logically, intuitively, and it was the right call. Under that tree, I was maybe 50% sure, but my body said yes. My nervous system said yes, and I listened. So learn to listen yours. When something feels wrong, don't override it. You feel it in your body. When something feels right, don't talk yourself out of it. Your body has been reading the world longer than your mind has. Trust it even when it makes no logical sense, especially then. And please, don't walk 1,500 kilometers alone in Indian summer heat. If you want to see how the rest of that journey unfolded, it is on my YouTube channel in 4 parts and includes real video footage from that trip. Trust me, it is worth seeing. I encountered miracles along the way. That trip changed my life, and it might change yours too. Hi, I'm Ruxandra. See you tomorrow!